The Cogitating Ceviché. Presence. Erasmus of Rotterdam, the master satirist of the Renaissance. Honoring the overlooked satirists and thinkers who altered our perspectives, number 21. By Conrad Hannon. Narration by Amazon Polly. Preface. In the 21st installment of our series, Honoring the Overlooked Satirists and Thinkers Who Altered Our Perspectives, we turn our attention to one of the most influential yet often underappreciated figures of the Renaissance, Desiderius Erasmus of Rotterdam. A scholar of immense intellect and wit, Erasmus carved a niche for himself in the annals of history not merely through his scholarly pursuits, but through his adept use of satire to critique and mold the social and religious fabric of his time. This article delves into Erasmus's life and legacy, exploring how his sharp insights and eloquent critiques illuminated the follies of his era and beyond. His masterful deployment of irony, allegory, and parody in works like the Praise of Folly not only entertained but also provoked thought, pushing the boundaries of conventional wisdom and encouraging a reevaluation of societal norms. As we explore Erasmus's journey and the enduring impact of his work, we invite readers to reflect on the power of satire as a tool for social commentary and intellectual reform. Through this exploration, we aim to honor Erasmus's contributions and appreciate how satirists and thinkers can influence our understanding of the world. Join us in celebrating the legacy of a true pioneer who, through his incisive wit and boundless intellect, forever altered our perspectives. Conrad Hannon. Introduction. In the luminous tapestry of the Renaissance, where the warp of humanism intertwines with the weft of rebirth in arts and sciences, Desiderius Erasmus of Rotterdam emerges as a figure of unparalleled brilliance. His intellect and wit, sharp as the quill he masterfully wielded, carved out a legacy that endures half a millennium later. Erasmus, a colossus straddling the realms of scholarship and satire, wielded his profound knowledge and incisive humor not just to entertain but to challenge the very foundations of society, religion, and politics of his time. At the heart of his oeuvre lies a penetrating critique of the human condition, rendered through the lens of satire, a tool he employed not for mere derision but as a catalyst for intellectual awakening and reform. This article embarks on a journey through the life of Erasmus, exploring how his satirical genius illuminated the follies of his era, advocating for a world enlightened by reason, compassion, and an unyielding quest for truth. Early life and education. Erasmus's journey into the annals of history began in Rotterdam amidst the turbulent tides of the late 15th century. Born out of wedlock in 1466, his early years were shadowed by the stigma of illegitimacy, yet this did not deter his intellectual ascent. Orphaned at an early age, Erasmus was thrust into the monastic life, a path that, while not of his choosing, provided him with the keys to the kingdom of knowledge. It was within the cloistered walls and under the rigorous discipline of the monastic school that Erasmus's hunger for the classical texts of antiquity was kindled, a passion that would illuminate his path. His voracious appetite for knowledge led him to devour the works of the ancients, and it was through this self-directed study that Erasmus acquired his mastery of Latin and Greek. These languages became his tools, weapons, and companions in a lifelong quest for intellectual and spiritual emancipation. This early immersion in classical literature honed his linguistic skills and shaped his critical perspective, laying the groundwork for the satirical sharpness that would characterize his later works. Erasmus's education was not confined to the monastic precincts. It propelled him across Europe to the universities of Paris, Oxford, and Turin, where he engaged with the leading scholars of his time. This expansive education broadened his horizons, deepening his commitment to the humanist cause and enriching his understanding of the cultural and intellectual currents shaping Europe. The linguistic precision and depth Erasmus achieved through his mastery of Latin and Greek enabled him to craft works of satire that resonated with erudite scholars and lay readers alike. His unparalleled ability to wield these languages with elegance and incisiveness set the stage for his enduring legacy as a satirist par excellence. Through his early life and education, Erasmus was forged into a scholar of immense depth, a master of rhetoric, and a critic of society, whose works would echo through the halls of history, challenging and enlightening generations to come. The satirical edge. Erasmus's magnum opus, The Praise of Folly, stands as a testament to his satirical genius, a piercing examination of the foibles of his age through the unlikely yet enlightening perspective of folly herself. Personified with eloquence and wit, Folly takes the reader on a journey through the Renaissance's societal, political, and religious landscapes, her voice imbued with the dual power of humor and insight. In a masterful stroke, Erasmus empowers Folly to mock the human inclination towards folly. From the vanity of scholars to the corruption within the church, no stone is left unturned in this carnival of critique. Folly, with her jester's cap and self-assured manner, commends the follies of mankind with such sharp irony that the reader is compelled to reflect on the absurdity of their own beliefs and actions. Erasmus, through Folly, critiques the pedantry of scholars who are lost in the minutiae of their texts, the pomp of prelates more concerned with power than piety, and the superstitious rituals of a populace blind to the essence of their faith. This satirical tour de force not only entertains but also serves as a mirror, reflecting the era's intellectual, spiritual, and moral vacuities. The Praise of Folly extends its satirical scope beyond mere humor, embedding a profound critique of the era's societal norms and ecclesiastical practices within its jests. Erasmus deftly uses folly to illuminate the folly of man's pursuit of wisdom, power, and beauty, suggesting that true wisdom lies in recognizing one's foolishness. This work, rich in classical allusions and infused with humanist ideals, challenges the reader to question the status quo, advocating for a return to the authentic teachings of Christ and the virtues of simplicity, humility, and love. Therefore, Erasmus's satire is not just an exercise in humor, but a call to intellectual and moral reform. By employing satire as his tool, Erasmus engages in a subtle pedagogy, educating his readers through laughter and self-recognition. The Praise of Folly, with its critical eye and compassionate heart, remains a powerful critique of the human condition, demonstrating Erasmus's enduring belief in the potential for reason and faith to coexist in a more enlightened society. Through the voice of Folly, Erasmus invites us to laugh at our own imperfections, not with scorn, but with the understanding that self-awareness is the first step towards wisdom. Influence on the Reformation. Erasmus's satirical writings, potent with wit and critique, positioned him as a precursor to the seismic shifts that the Protestant Reformation would bring to Europe. His eloquent calls for reform within the Catholic Church, especially through works like The Praise of Folly and his critical examination of the New Testament, did not aim to dismantle the institution, but to purify and restore it to its original spiritual integrity. However, the sharpness of his pen inadvertently sowed the intellectual seeds that would burgeon into the Reformation. Erasmus's critique of ecclesiastical practices, such as the sale of indulgences, the moral laxity of the clergy, and the Church's departure from scriptural simplicity, resonated deeply with figures like Martin Luther, who saw in Erasmus a fellow traveler on the path to reform. Yet, Erasmus navigated these turbulent waters with a nuance that set him apart. His vision was not one of division, but of a universal church enlightened by humanist scholarship and dedicated to its flock's spiritual and moral upliftment. This nuanced position often placed Erasmus in a delicate balance, advocating for change while holding firm his loyalty to the church. He believed in the power of education, dialogue, and gentle persuasion, rather than radical rupture to achieve reform. His emphasis on a return to the sources, ad fontes, encouraging the study of the Bible in its original languages, contributed significantly to the theological debates that characterized the Reformation. Erasmus's indirect influence on the Reformation is thus a testament to his complex legacy. He was a catalyst for change whose ideas provided intellectual fodder for the reformers, yet he remained a voice of moderation in an age of extremes. His commitment to scholarly inquiry, critical thinking, and the moral reformation of the church and society set the stage for religious transformations. In the annals of history, Erasmus stands as a towering figure whose intellectual contributions transcended the polarities of his time, marking him as a thinker of profound influence and enduring relevance. The Satirist Toolbox. Erasmus wielded the Satirist Toolbox with unparalleled deftness, blending irony, parody, and allegory into a sharp critique of society that remains as poignant today as it was in the Renaissance. Through these techniques, he crafted works that were immediate in their context and timeless in their appeal. Irony was a staple in Erasmus's satirical arsenal. He excelled at saying one thing while meaning another, which allowed him to embed his critiques within layers of meaning. This is most evident in the Praise of Folly, where Folly herself extols her virtues and those who follow her, ironically underscoring human pursuit's absurdity. Erasmus's use of irony invited his readers to engage in a deeper level of interpretation, peeling back layers to uncover the truth beneath the surface. Parody played a significant role in Erasmus's work, allowing him to mimic and mock the conventions and styles of his time. By exaggerating the practices of the church or the pedantry of scholars, Erasmus held up a mirror to society, revealing the grotesque distortions of what were considered norms. This technique amused and provoked thought, challenging readers to reassess their adherence to such conventions. Allegory was another powerful tool in Erasmus's kit. By personifying abstract concepts such as folly, he was able to explore and critique complex ideas in a manner that was both engaging and accessible. These allegorical figures traversed the landscape of human folly, encountering characters and situations that reflected the moral and intellectual issues of the day. Through allegory, Erasmus distilled the complexities of human nature and society into narratives rich with meaning and ripe for interpretation. Erasmus's deep engagement with classical references enriched his satirical works with a layer of sophistication and depth. He drew upon his extensive knowledge of ancient texts to craft arguments and critiques that resonated with the educated elite of his time, while still appealing to the broader public. His ability to weave these references into his satire not only showcased his erudition, but also lent his critiques an authority grounded in the wisdom of the ancients. At the heart of Erasmus's satire was his understanding of human nature. He observed the world around him keenly, noting humanity's foibles, vanities, and virtues with equal clarity. This deep insight allowed him to craft works that, while anchored in the specifics of his era, touched upon universal themes of folly, wisdom, morality, and the human condition. It is this universality that ensures the enduring relevance of his work. Through his masterful use of the Satirist's Toolbox, Erasmus created a body of work that continues to engage, amuse, and provoke thought centuries after it was written, cementing his legacy as one of history's greatest satirists. Legacy and relevance today. Erasmus's legacy as a satirist extends far beyond the Renaissance era, echoing through the corridors of time to resonate within the fabric of modern satirical discourse. His sharp wit and insightful critique of human folly laid the groundwork for centuries of satirical expression, proving that humor combined with intellect can be a powerful tool for societal reflection and reform. In today's world, where satire flourishes in literature, television, and social media, the echoes of Erasmus's voice are unmistakable, underscoring the timeless nature of his critique and the enduring value of satire as a form of social commentary. The method Erasmus employed, engaging with societal issues through the lens of satire, remains profoundly influential in contemporary culture. Modern satirists continue to draw upon a similar repertoire of irony, parody, and allegory to critique political, religious, and social norms. This lineage from Erasmus to present-day satirists demonstrates the unbroken relevance of using humor to provoke thought, challenge authority, and inspire change. Erasmus's work prefigured the modern satirical approach by demonstrating that even the most serious topics could be addressed through wit, reaching a wider audience and fostering a more profound understanding of the issues at hand. Moreover, Erasmus's satire has taught us much about the importance of critical thinking and the questioning of societal norms. In an age where information is abundant, yet misinformation is rampant, the need for discernment has never been greater. Erasmus teaches us to look beneath the surface, to question the status quo, and to recognize the folly in our beliefs and actions. His work reminds us that wisdom often lies in acknowledging our limitations, and that humor can be a vehicle for insight and enlightenment. The value of humor in intellectual discourse, a cornerstone of Erasmus's legacy, remains pertinent today. In a world often divided by rigid ideologies and serious conflicts, satire offers a unique space for critique and reflection, a means of broaching difficult topics in a manner that is accessible and engaging. Erasmus's ability to balance humor with profound insights into human nature and society exemplifies the potential of satire to not only entertain, educate, and reform. In conclusion, Erasmus's legacy as a satirist is not merely a historical footnote, but a living tradition that continues to inform and inspire modern satirical discourse. His work is a testament to satire's enduring power to challenge, illuminate, and transform society. Through his pioneering use of satire, Erasmus laid the foundations for a mode of engagement that remains vital in teaching us the value of humor, the importance of critical thinking, and the necessity of questioning societal norms. In an ever-evolving world, the lessons gleaned from Erasmus's satire are as relevant today as they were in the Renaissance, underscoring the timeless nature of his genius and the universal appeal of his message. Call to reflection. As we stand on the shoulders of a giant like Erasmus, peering into the complex tapestry of modern life, his satire legacy beckons us to deeply reflect on its role not just in the public sphere, but in the very fabric of our personal existence. Erasmus's satire, enriched with wit and wisdom, serves as a mirror, inviting us to gaze deeply into our collective and individual follies. It challenges us to acknowledge the imperfections, absurdities, and contradictions that define the human condition. Consider for a moment the landscape of today's world, marked by rapid technological advancement, shifting societal norms, and ever-present political and cultural tensions. In this context, satire emerges as a form of entertainment and a critical tool for engagement and understanding. It offers a lens through which we can examine the world, highlighting incongruities and sparking dialogue in a manner that is both accessible and impactful. Erasmus's approach to satire, rooted in compassion, intellect, and a relentless quest for truth, reminds us that the ultimate goal of satire is not to deride but to illuminate, not to divide but to enlighten. As we navigate the complexities of contemporary life, let us draw inspiration from Erasmus's satirical genius to confront our societal and personal follies with courage and introspection. Let his work encourage us to question the status quo, recognize the value of humor in exposing and understanding the absurdities of life, and embrace the transformative power of satire in fostering a more reflective, tolerant, and enlightened society. In this spirit of reflection, we are called to consider how satire influences our perception of the world and our place within it. Can we, like Erasmus, employ humor and wit to critique, understand, and ultimately improve the world around us? As we ponder these questions, let us appreciate the enduring relevance of Erasmus's satire, recognizing its capacity to challenge, entertain, and inspire change. In doing so, we honor the legacy of a thinker whose work continues to resonate across the ages, inviting us to confront our follies with a smile, a question, and perhaps a spark of transformation. Conclusion. In the annals of history, few figures stand as luminaries of intellect and wit as brightly as Desiderius Erasmus of Rotterdam. His legacy, etched into the marrow of human thought and culture, remains a beacon for those navigating the tumultuous seas of societal folly. Erasmus did not shy away from the absurdities and contradictions of his era. Instead, he confronted them head-on, armed with the might of his pen and the force of his intellect. Through satire, he engaged with the follies of his age, wielding humor and erudition not as mere tools for critique, but as instruments for profound intellectual and moral improvement. His work serves as a testament to the belief that enlightenment is born not from the avoidance of folly, but from its direct engagement and transformation. By emphasizing Erasmus's role as a satirist, we illuminate the breadth of his intellectual contributions and the enduring power of satire to challenge, question, and inspire. His satire transcends the boundaries of time and culture, offering us a lens through which to examine our societies, beliefs, and ourselves. In a world often marred by divisiveness and strife, the lessons of Erasmus's satire, its capacity for critique, invitation to self-reflection, and unyielding pursuit of truth, remain as vital and illuminating as ever. Erasmus's unique place in history, therefore, is not merely as a scholar of his time, but as a timeless figure whose engagement with the human condition continues to resonate with us. His life and work remind us that the greatest of human achievements are born from the courage to confront our follies, armed with wit, wisdom, and an unwavering commitment to the betterment of society. In this way, Erasmus's legacy enriches our understanding of the past. It lights the way forward, guiding us through the complexities of the modern world with laughter, insight, and the transformative power of satire. Thank you for your time today, and until next time, stay gruntled.